There's a city in the middle of Siberia where the air freezes into slush, where it's hard to walk with your eyes open, and where people don't turn off their cars until 3 in the morning because they won't be able to start them the next morning. This is Yakutsk, the coldest major city in the world. The average minimum temperature here in winter is negative 42 degrees Celsius. Sometimes it reaches negative 64 degrees Celsius. This temperature is colder than the surface of Mars. And this city is home to 3.7 million people. There are universities, shopping malls, high-rise buildings. Everything is here. Only the urge to survive is missing. The most unlivable major city on Earth, built on diamonds and permafrost. If there were a competition for the most questionably located major city in the world, the winner would almost certainly be in the middle of Siberia. That city is Yakutsk. In the depths of winter, the average low hovers around negative 42 degrees Celsius. Weeks can pass without the temperature ever rising above negative 40 degrees Celsius. At that point, exposed fingers suffer frostbite in just 3 to 7 minutes, while your nose and cheeks follow suit in 5 to 8 minutes. Even if you bundle up perfectly, your car won't forgive you. Engine oil thickens into glue, fuel lines freeze, batteries die, tires split open, and metal becomes so brittle that hitting it can cause cracks. That's why residents often leave their engines running for hours overnight, turning parking lots into fields of idling vehicles. Groceries freeze solid before you get home. And fish at the market? They're displayed outside. For days or weeks, the ambient air is colder than any freezer. A city bigger than your board game memory, Westerners might know Yakutsk only as a territory on the Risk board game. But in reality, over 370,000 people live here. There is no larger settlement for thousands of kilometers in any direction. Yakutsk is the biggest city ever built on continuous permafrost, where the ground stays frozen year-round for thousands of years. It's the capital of Russia's Sakha Republic, a region roughly twice the size of Alaska. If you place Sakha over the United States, it would cover the entire eastern half. Yet fewer than 1 million people live across this vast land, and nearly 40% of them are crammed into Yakutsk alone. From fur to gold to gulags. Indigenous Yakuts, who call themselves Sakha, migrated here around the 13th, 14th centuries, pushed north by the Mongols. In 1632, Russian explorers built a small fort on the Lena River to collect fur tribute. At the time, nobody imagined it would become a metropolis. The turning point came in 1923, when Soviet geologists discovered gold. Within 2 years, over 13,000 ethnic Slavs flooded in. But voluntary labor wasn't enough for Stalin. He brought in involuntary labor through the Gulag system. About 50,000 prisoners worked the gold mines across 100 camps. Ironically, the Tsars had already used this region as a prison without walls. Escape was impossible because nothing existed for thousands of kilometers. Between 1926 and 1959, Yakutsk's population exploded from 10,000 to over 70,000. Ethnic Yakuts went from 80% of the region to less than half. Then came diamonds. In 1949, the first rough diamond was found. 5 years later, the Zarnitsa kimberlite piper mother lode was discovered. Sakha turned out to be the most diamond-rich area outside southern Africa. At its peak, it produced 25% of the world's diamonds. Wages were 4 times the Soviet average, attracting tens of thousands more. By 1989, Yakutsk's population had reached 186,000. The Mir mine and nuclear hangover. The Mir open-pit mine is the 4th deepest in the world, 525 meters deep and over a kilometer wide. It's so large that helicopters are banned from flying over it due to dangerous air turbulence. Between 1974 and 1988, the Soviets detonated at least 12 underground nuclear explosions in Sakha to find more minerals or to excavate mines. The result? Radioactive contamination of soil and aquifers, making life even harder than nature already intended. A climate of extremes? Negative 64 degrees Celsius to plus 41 degrees Celsius, Yakutsk lies deep in Eurasia, thousands of kilometers from any ocean. The Siberian High, the strongest high-pressure system in the northern hemisphere, traps frigid Arctic air over central Siberia from September to April. Snow-covered plains reflect sunlight, keeping temperatures low. The coldest recorded temperature in Yakutsk is an almost unbelievable negative 64 degrees Celsius. Between November 10 and March 14, the mercury never rises above freezing. But summers are bizarrely hot, up to 41 degrees Celsius over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. That's a temperature range of more than 100 degrees Celsius between winter lows and summer highs, the widest of any major city on Earth. And summer brings another horror: mosquitoes. Permafrost prevents water from draining, creating countless stagnant pools. The swarms are among the worst in the world, covering exposed skin within seconds. Building on frozen ground. Permafrost extends 300 meters deep. If you place a building directly on it, the heat seeps down, melts the ice, turns the soil to mud, and the foundation cracks. That's why most buildings in Yakutsk are raised on stilts or concrete piles, drilled 10 meters into the ground. Pipes and wires are not buried, they run above ground. As the Arctic warms twice as fast as the rest of the world, the permafrost is melting anyway. Sidewalks warp like speed bumps, buildings sag, and the city is slowly collapsing. In winter, ice fog envelops everything. Normally, fog doesn't form at such low temperatures, but here, warm air from buildings and cars can't rise, it freezes instantly, creating a frozen cloud over the streets. Your breath condenses and forms frost on your eyebrows and eyelashes within minutes. No roads, no bridge. A logistical island. Cars last only a few years. EVs lose 40–60% of their range, but the biggest challenge is getting in or out. Yakutsk is the largest city on the Eurasian continent not connected to the rest of the world by road. The Lena Highway runs along the east bank of the Lena River. Yakutsk is on the west bank. There is no bridge. In winter, the river freezes solid and people simply drive across the ice, making it a critical link. In summer, ferries operate, but a one-way crossing can cost 15% of the median monthly wage with hours of waiting. In the shoulder seasons, spring and fall, the ice is too thin to support vehicles but too broken for ferries. People still risk crossing on foot or by car, and every year some crash through the ice and die. Plans for a bridge have been discussed since the 1980s. The collapse of the USSR killed the first attempt. Then the 2014 annexation of Crimea diverted funds to the Crimean Bridge. Talks revived in 2019. Then COVID hit. The 2022 invasion of Ukraine brought sanctions. In 2024, Russia finally initiated the process, estimating the bridge would cost $855 million. That estimate has since ballooned to $1.7 billion, and with war spending priorities, the federal government hasn't provided the extra funds. It remains unclear if or when the bridge will ever be completed.